YouTube, what's going on? What's happening? As always, I am Hadou Kid, and I know you guys have been waiting for a lot of Gears of War content and just Gears of War news and games to get excited about. I'm the same way. I recently just played a little bit of Gears Tactics just to check it out because I never have, and you know, I got some shorts here and there. But if you're all like me, you've been excited and waiting for E-Day to come out. I'll be honest, I was cautiously optimistic going into it because in the past, obviously I've gotten excited about games, and then when the games came out, maybe it wasn't exactly what I was expecting or it wasn't what I was hoping for. So just going into the beta, I was trying to keep an open mind. Obviously it's Gears, so I wanted to check it out. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I liked so far in the beta, what I maybe don't like as much, or maybe some opportunities for improvement, or you know, things they can tweak in the full game. And then overall, just what I'm excited about going forward, you know, with E-Day coming out. Obviously with this being a beta, it's expected there's going to be some hiccups here and there, some bugs here and there. But overall, I'll say my experience has been positive so far. So without further ado, let's just get right into some of the things on my mind. First, I want to start off with the positives, specifically multiplayer. The most obvious thing I'll say is that it feels like every fight and every just movement is heavy. They definitely took a lot of feedback from the community, from the fans. I feel like some of the videos I made about Gear 6 and things I wanted to see in that Gears got translated into this Gears. So when you're running around and their feet are stomping heavy, they're slamming against the cover, you hit somebody with a Nasher and it really feels like they got jolted backwards. Like they did a really good job with just adding the weight back into the game. It really feels like you're this massive person running around, throwing your body around. And yeah, I have no complaints about that. I really love it. Fights really feeling more intense now. Another thing that took a little bit of getting used to, but I actually really like now, is how they separated the buttons for movement. So in every other Gears game, if you remember, to go against cover is A, roadie running is holding A, and then vaulting over cover is also A. So in this game, by default, running is binded to the left stick. So you can toggle it or hold it, however you want to set it up. But to run, you would use the left stick to run, similar to like Call of Duty or something. And then to go against cover, you still would hit A, you know, to jump against cover. But then to vault, it's Y, the Y button. This is all talking, you know, obviously the Xbox controller, because if it's PC, there's obviously different bindings you can do. But I play on controller, so that's how it's set up by default. And at first it's weird because you just, by habit, do the old stuff and it kind of messes you up. But once you get used to it, it really makes you feel like you have more flexibility in your movement, because now you're not accidentally hitting cover if you're not meaning to, you're not accidentally vaulting if you didn't want to. It's so nice just once you get used to it, having them bind it to separate buttons, because now you aren't making as many mistakes, I guess. So it takes some getting used to, but for me, I really like that change. I also was skeptical about just being able to jump around and kind of adding the verticality and the layers. Obviously Gears 5, you could jump from like higher covers, you know, down to places, but this game takes it to a new level. You can just completely like leap onto other platforms and things like that. And it's not anything crazy, but just there's never been so much of a jump mechanic in a Gears of War game, and it just feels normal. Like, again, movement wise, when you get into the jumping and like the little sliding, I was nervous at first, but it doesn't really feel broken. You really have to kind of make your way into getting used to it. And then obviously if somebody just slides right up to you, you can just blow them away anyway. So, you know, there's definitely some finesse and technique to it, but they really did a good job of integrating it into just the Gears experience. Like, it doesn't feel like a not Gears game. It just feels like you have to be more careful about how you take cover and your positioning and things like that. I also noticed that they kind of not nerfed wall bouncing a little bit, but you know, those videos of people wall bouncing like they're freaking Super Saiyans and they're just basically wall bouncing as the game at that point. You can't really do that as much in this game. You can still wall bounce and kind of throw some little movement here and there together to get around people, but it's not like broken. It's not like people are teleporting across the map like they were in Gears 5. So I like that they made it more focused on just strategically when you're going into a fight, making sure you hit your shots. You know, again, it's not just spamming the wall bouncing and things like that. So I personally like that. You know, maybe I'm biased and not the best wall bouncer, but I think it just gives an overall more enjoyable experience. One honorable mention I just have to say is I love how the locusts sound. When you hear their voice, it just sounds like they about to mess you up, man. Like, I don't know what they did with just in the past, the locusts were hard to hear. Like, it's kind of like funny to make, like, you know, Scourge or Cantus's voice, or like even the Grenadiers just doing little impressions and stuff. But I don't know, when you hear how clear this locust was, it's like he's like dishing you in a mixtape. I don't know how else to explain it, but they really just like they really nailed it. And it's like, hey, he kind of spitting, but I'm kind of scared of him, you know. Maybe that doesn't make sense, but I really like how they did the locust voice. It really just gives you like this feeling of like, I'm not messing with this dude over here. So I think that was a really cool change. I also like that they added active reloads back. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think in Gears 5, like, you could hit the active reload, but I don't believe it made your bullets any stronger. Like in campaign it did, but they took it out for the multiplayer. And maybe it's just a nostalgia thing, but I like it. It kind of gives you incentive to hit the active reload. You know, that was kind of the point of it, is when you play the mini game and you hit it, you get a boost. So I like that they brought it back. I also like that you can either have it at the top right like usual, or you can have it down in the middle by default. I'm keeping it in the middle just to see if I like it. I might change it back, but it didn't make a big difference either way. If anything, you're just getting used to the game for the first time and it's in the middle, you can see it a little easier. So until you kind of get the muscle memory for each gun about when you need to hit the active reload, it's good to just have it in the middle so you aren't, you know, looking away during a fight. But I like that they brought it back. So that's multiplayer. Now I want to talk a little bit about Horde, because Horde is actually a mode I spent quite a lot of time in previous Gears games. It's always been something I thought was fun. Definitely more on just the more traditional style of just waves coming at you. But this feels like a whole overhaul of Horde. And you've probably seen it talked about in other videos, but like the way they did the classes, I think is just way more enjoyable than Gears 5. I felt like Gears 5 was really restricted in some sense. And just the way that they expand on like the leveling system and just how you can, I don't know, just upgrade your class and still use other weapons here and there. I think it's really well done. Specifically, I really like that they made it 12 players, because it's hard to explain, but Horde, basically there's 3 squads in a match at one time, and each squad has 4 players. So you start out with 3 other people and y'all are on one side of the map kind of doing your stuff. But if you check the map, at any point you can see where the other 2 squads are, and at any point you can kind of just meet up and tackle stuff together. You know, you're not really tied to the same objectives like that, but there have been times where I was in a squad with people and we could not get past certain objectives, because there's like main objectives and then there's secondary objectives, and we were just getting bodied. We could not get past objectives, and it was almost like literally out of a movie. We're about to lose again and another squad comes out of nowhere and like saves us, or we're all down and you have to sit there and watch each other be down. You don't just like insta die, and then somebody in a different color from a different squad, you see them running through the TACCOM and they come and pick you guys up and you win. It's so fun, and it's such a like heroic and cool moment. Like just adding that community in the way that you can share it with 8 other people in the lobby is so cool. Specifically when you get into boss battles, because there's times where you can fight a Brumac or you can fight like a Corpser, and clearly that's not something that like one person should be doing by themselves, or even within one squad it's kind of difficult. But there were times where literally every squad was all shooting at one boss, and it just made you feel the scale of what it must have been like to fight the Locusts in a war. That's something that Horde's like Siege and Blitz or whatever you want to call it, like really captures well. You feel like you are at war, and it's such a cool feeling. It's stressful sometimes for sure, because it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, maybe it's just me, but when you set it at the higher difficulties, it's challenging for sure. But it's a mode I can easily see myself playing in my free time. I don't feel like I need to be, you know, a 4-stack going into it necessarily. It's one of those things where you can jump in, kind of like how online is supposed to be. You can jump in and just create bonds with those people you're playing with, which is Gears at its core, you know? I feel like this whole game is kind of centering back around brothers to the end, again, being a squad, being a community. I just really like Horde, and I'm excited to see where they go with that. So, fun fact, in this game, you can fall down E-holes. I've seen it happen a bunch of times, so like, don't jump into an E-hole and watch where you're stepping, because you can fall in. That was never in the old Gears games, but it's hilarious that they added it in here, so just a warning for that. Also, something they might want to add into just the tutorial, I think, in general for the next game is, I may sound petty saying this, but introducing people to the revive system, because I've noticed probably with a lot of new players, I don't think people understand that you don't just die like in other games. You get down but not out, and then from there, where the marker indicator is that shows your teammate is down, and then just making sure there's urgency and understanding around picking your teammate up. Again, this probably just sounds dumb and like common knowledge, but there was so many times where I was down in Horde, and whether it was the chaos of what's going on or people just not understanding Gears yet, I did not get picked up. And then some locusts came over and started beating the brakes off me, and I'm like, well, this is nice. But I feel like it's just a matter of explaining it, you know? It's not like malicious or anything, but that's one thing that I think just you could just add a little note into it, or even like a comical moment and like a tutorial moment in campaign or something, where it's like, you might want to go pick your teammates up or it's game over for all of y'all. So just something I wanted to note. But overall, again, like, Horde is super fun. I'm looking forward to what they put out in the full game so I can start grinding it. Pause. So now that I got some of the pros out the way, I want to talk about a couple of things that I noticed that kind of, you know, I don't want to say they're problems, but they're definitely something that could be improved on. The first thing that comes to mind is, so now when you're running, if you run for like 2 or 3 seconds, you can initiate the slide, which you can shoot right out of. But if you're just roadie running for like, let's say like, again, a second or two, not roadie running, so running, whatever. If you're running for a second or two, and then let's say I'm running behind somebody and they don't know I'm there, and I get behind them and I go to shoot, you almost have to pull back on the stick to come out of the run to allow for your character to shoot the gun, like the Nasher. And it just creates this like second or two delay that allows either the other person to move or you just get blasted by somebody else. And I don't know, it's just, I wish it was, you'd obviously want to balance it so it's not broken, but I wish there was a way you could shoot sooner coming out of a run. Like if I'm running and I hit right trigger, that half a second after it registers as a shot and it takes me out of the run, if that makes sense. It's just, there's the delay that I've heard from other people as well that kind of throws off your momentum, like you're running into a fight. And again, sometimes it's the first person you hit is all you need to really get into a flow and get like a team wipe kind of situation maybe going if you're flanking or something. But if I'm running up and there's a delay before I can even shoot the gun, but I'm spamming right trigger, then it just, I feel like sets me up to get bodied. So just one thing I noticed. I'm curious if you guys have noticed the same thing. Let me know like in the comments if you've noticed that as well. Another thing that I'm not sure what the general consensus is. I'd be curious to know what you think. But 6 bullets in the Nasher, I found it to be a problem more times than not. Obviously, you don't want to put too many in there, but in the past, we've obviously had 8 shots, and I didn't think it'd make much of a difference. But if I'm going one-on-one against somebody, 6 shots is really enough between the two of us to the point to where we're either reloading at the same time, or again, I just am able to hit what I need in order to win the fight. But if I'm running into a room and if I'm in a fight and there's multiple fights going on at once, just not having those extra 2 shots puts me at such a disadvantage to where like, if I use 6 shots on one person and one person's right next to them and I'm inside range to just completely blow them away, and I have to reload, oh, that's the worst feeling. It always happens right after 6. and maybe it's just me not being familiar with it, but I feel like it's good for individual fights. It's not good for team fights in close spaces, and this is specifically for the Nasher. So I don't know, you guys agree, disagree? 6 shots versus 8 shots, is it a big deal or not? I feel like 6, maybe it's just for balancing purposes during the beta right now, and they'll go back to 8. But for me, 8 was the sweet spot. I don't think you need any more than 8, but I just found myself having to reload at such critical moments where if I just had a couple more shots, it would have been a game changer. Another thing that's maybe a tiny gripe, because you can obviously just tweak it, but when I say you feel like you're in a war in this game, I mean it in the sense that it is loud. When you first start off the game, it is, for me, it was like peaking the bass in my headphones, and again, like it was so loud between the gunfire and just everything going on that it was hard to distinguish between my footprints and my teammates' footprints and the other team's footprints. So I was just hearing footprints everywhere, and then footsteps, sorry. I would hear footsteps, and then I would get just bodied because I couldn't tell if it was a friendly or an enemy. So obviously, again, there's audio settings. You can tweak it, right? It's not like a deal breaker, but just something I noticed is that you really have to crank the volume down, at least in my opinion. So just tweak it however you need to, but just something I thought I'd point out because that was something that was kind of throwing me off at first. So one thing that I actually think is a really big issue, and obviously it's only really been in Gears 5, but I feel like it would really benefit the overall gameplay, is adding the mantle kick back in. I stayed mantle kicking people in Gears 5, and when you're running and you just can strategically throw in a quick, seamless mantle kick jumping over cover and nobody sees it, you don't need the execution factor of it. It could, just kind of be like a quick stun. But that for me was so smooth, running in, mantle kicking, and especially with all the different vaulting opportunities you have. Now it's kind of awkward where you like vault over and you land on top of somebody, but then the delay from landing on the ground puts you at the disadvantage, for example, or just the delay of jumping over cover puts you at the disadvantage to get shot. And I just noticed that, like, I was like, man, I should have kicked this dude in the face. It's just one of those things where I don't know how hard it would be to add back in a mantle kick. And let me know if I'm the only one who misses it. But it obviously makes sense, like, oh, why would they mantle kick in this game because it predates all the other ones and then not mantle kick again until Gears 5? I mean, in the same way you could also ask, why are they able to slide in this game but not in the other games? Maybe they just got older and their knees don't work, it happens. But I don't know, just from a gameplay perspective, just mantle kicking feels like it makes so much sense. And again, if you mess up a mantle kick, you get bodied, so it's not like it's broken. But let me know what you guys think. That's one that I would personally like back in the game. Other than that, it's just little things here and there. I do feel like turning out of a run is a lot tighter and it's a little slower. Even just shots in between each other, like the time to shoot in between shots is slower. Again, there's maybe just an adjustment because this is just a different Gears game, so you can't play it expecting it to be Gears 5 or Gears 3 or 2, But I just felt like it was a little slower than usual, so sometimes I'm like sitting there, like in my mind, I have the next move planned out and I'm doing it, but because it's so slow, by the time I'm able to get out, like another person comes. But who knows? Maybe it's more balanced than I'm expecting. It's just something I'll have to play around with. And again, with this being the beta, this is just feedback that you can throw into the pool of everybody and ultimately determine what's best. But maybe just make the shots a little faster. Not super fast, because again, it's not supposed to be insta fights, but just like a slight bit faster so it's not such a delay between shots. Again, talking just about the Nasher right now. And the last thing I can talk about, you can notice this is all multiplayer cons really, but if you go into Horde, for example, I don't know if it's just because it's the beta or maybe it varies by difficulty, but the AI is not the best. Like, maybe it's strategic that they're just literally running past you to take cover and then shoot behind you, but like it's literally like somebody will walk right past your face, go like 10 yards behind you and then start fighting you, but it's like they just ran through an open space of cog soldiers. So I don't know if you can improve that. I mean, games obviously have different degrees of like intelligence with their bots, but it just kind of feels like they were kind of dumb. And it does make it harder because, again, people just literally run into the space, and when your health is already red and people are just in your personal space, like, strategically I wouldn't do that as a soldier, but as a gamer trying to survive, I'm like, this is way harder to try to deal with. So, you know, maybe it's not a big deal, but I just felt like it wasn't super realistic in a video game, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that was really how I feel about the beta so far. Honestly, it's been a lot of fun. It's been really nice to play a new Gears game. I've been playing with my brother and his friends and just, again, random people online. And you know, when people say like we're back, I always just hesitate because I'm like, well, let's see, because obviously we all want to be back. But I'll be honest, it feels like Gears is back. And like I mentioned before, I went back and watched my like things we want in Gear 6 video, and just between the dark and gritty experience that I'm hoping for in campaign, and just some more insight into like Ty when he was a badass. I mean, in the trailer he literally had a chainsaw, like an actual chainsaw, not attached to a gun. So it's very apparent that the Coalition heard the fan base. And it's very validating, I'll say, as a Gears fan, to see all that implemented. I think it's very refreshing in this day and age in the gaming industry. And it just cautiously and optimistically makes me excited for this game coming out. So again, I'm excited for the campaign. I hope the graphics and stuff get optimized a little bit, because the game is beautiful. But especially in Horde, there are times when you're fighting a boss and there's 12 people on the screen, and if your computer doesn't run off Coleoco operating software, man, it gets kind of laggy sometimes. You know, I don't have like the most high-tech specs, but you know, hopefully they can tailor it a little bit so that it's optimized without having to rely on stuff like frame generation. But between that, more maps and weapons to try out, because the beta only had a couple of maps, but I mean, they were cool, so I'm excited to see more maps. And oh, probably one of my favorite things that I don't know why I waited till the end to talk about was earned unlockables. I love that one of the guys said no battle pass, no pay to win, no bullshit. That hit different, because one of the big things I asked for was just unlockables like we had in Gears 3. The more time you put into the game and the more accolades you achieve in the game, whether it's like, again, getting Gears skins back in the day, or even like the Halo Hayabusa mask, stuff like that, or like COD skins when you get so many kills with a gun, it just makes it so much more fun and gives me so much more incentive to grind this game. Because we all love Gears, right? We're playing Gears because we love it. And me walking in with something that I earned, it just hits differently than something I just paid like 15, 20 bucks for. So I'm super happy they went this route. I'm excited to see what they drop. I know they're still gonna drop like downloadable skins, and they look like they can also be fire. So I mean, you're kind of appealing to both parties. But that's something I'm super happy about, and I'm really appreciative to Coalition for bringing that back. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this beta. Have you tried it yet? Are you excited? What issues you have? I know some people are mixed about the beta. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are, because again, I'm excited, but I also know not to count chickens. So when the game drops, ultimately that'll be more telling of what we're gonna get. But this has been fun. I'm gonna keep playing until they shut the servers down, basically. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Let me know if you agree or disagree. You know, like the video, however you want to, you know, share that feedback. I appreciate just hearing from you guys, and I'm happy to be making videos like this. Like, I want to make videos now. I have stuff to talk about. I have little moments here and there to make shorts about. You know, clearly Gears means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to you guys. So yeah, thanks for hearing my thoughts. Let me know how you feel, and I'll see you guys in the trenches.